Hey everyone, hope you're having another great week. This week, we're going to talk about a topic that many people have thought about. I've gotten this question so many times. It's how much passive income is enough to walk away from medicine? Whether you've been thinking about it, whether you've heard about it, whether you might think about it, let's talk about it on today's episode. So stay tuned and enjoy. Welcome to the Passive Income MD podcast, where we talk about creating your ideal life through multiple streams of income. If you enjoy hearing about this stuff, make sure to hit subscribe. Now let's get on with the show. Okay, so one of the coolest things I think about having this community, Passive Income MD, this platform, this podcast, having these events, is that I get the chance to talk to a lot of people in our community. And it's so much fun. I mean, I really do this for the relationships. And many of you, if you've met me in person, you know I just love chatting about life, whatever it might be. And I like going deep if possible. And sometimes I feel like people are willing to share some details with me that they may not share with their colleagues or known people around them, because I think they know that I understand and I'm there to help and support. And what I try to do is whenever anybody asks me a question, again, I try not to necessarily say, hey, I've got all the answers, but I try to help and guide and coach them to help them figure out what they want. Because most of the times, I think most of us individually know the answers to a lot of the questions we even ask for ourselves. And it's hard for me to tell you what to do, how to use your time and energy. It's really up to you. When you get there and sitting on that rocking chair on the porch at the end of your life, are you going to feel good about how you spent your time, your energy? Did you get to do the things you wanted to do? Hopefully no regrets. You feel like you lived a good, fulfilled, full life. And one of the questions that I get quite often that I guess people start to think about this whole life and how they spend their time is this one. How much passive income is enough to walk away from medicine? And I think they're expecting this clean answer from me, but I always tell them it depends. I believe that's not even really the full question. Here's what I mean. For a lot of doctors, I don't think the goal is actually to quit medicine entirely. I think what most people want is the option, the freedom to choose, the freedom to practice how they want, to cut back, to take a sabbatical, to choose how you show up in your life and your career. And there's so many people that I met in our community who have been with us for a while, who have figured out how to create passive income. And when they get to that place where they actually have enough to leave medicine that gives them freedom, they actually often don't quit. Instead, what they're able to do is find that sustainable place, find that fulfilling place. They're able to rework and reshape their work lives into something that's meaningful for them. And so I'll say it again. I don't think most people want to walk away from medicine. They want to walk into or create a life that just works better for them. And that usually involves medicine in some way. But I do get the gist of the question. It has to do with a number. But before we get there, I usually take a step back with people. I feel like there's something else that we need to talk about that's more important than just that number. And it provides context to all of that. And it's something simple. It's your why or your reason for actually wanting to move towards financial freedom. I start asking, like, what kind of life do you actually want? Some people live simpler lives. Some people live lives in higher cost of living areas with, private school education, or they might have a little bit more extravagant travel. I think everyone has a different standard for what kind of life they want. So part of this is trying to figure out what is the reason behind all this and what do you actually want? So if you had control of your time, I'd ask you, how would you spend it? Maybe your goal is you want more of that freedom because you want to spend time with your family more, especially as they're growing. Maybe you want to travel more, do a little bit of mission work. Maybe you just want to stop doing overnight calls or weekends. And figuring out the reason you're actually trying to get that passive income will help you figure out how much you need. So I always start with that. Spend that time to figure out why you want this, how you really want to spend your time. Then you can start moving on to the numbers. So when we start talking about those numbers, usually one of the frameworks that I start with is this concept of replacement of your essential expenses. What I mean by that is, what are the basic necessities that you need to live and enjoy life? And these usually include your housing, your car, transportation. It includes your food and your essentials of life. Like, what is that number? What is that number that needs to get replaced? Then there's another number on top of that. What's your ideal lifestyle? On top of your essentials, what else would you be doing with your life? Would you be traveling? Again, you want to pay for private school education, a couple other goodies that you want in your life. You want to donate extravagantly. What are those other things? And usually that's the second layer of your passive income number. That's your second goal. And so going back to that first number with essential expenses, I think for most people, that's like your peace of mind number. If at least that number was covered, you'd be good no matter what. So for some people, that might be $10,000 a month. That might be $20,000 or perhaps 30,000 for some people in certain areas. Hey everyone, I have a quick question for you. Are you looking for a secure and reliable long-term investment strategy? Meet Eckert Enterprises. It's a family-owned and operated firm with over 35 years of experience specializing in U.S. energy and alternative investments. Here at Passive Income MD, you often hear me talk about the need to diversify. One of the safest investment strategies available today are mineral rights. And with Eckert Enterprises, you can diversify your portfolio. Their team is committed to helping private investors like you and me identify and develop successful diversified portfolios. With an average return on investment of over 24% across their portfolios, the Eckert team is dedicated to helping you build and protect your wealth through long-term passive income. All of this while minimizing the risks associated with traditional investments. So check out Eckert Enterprises. If you want that great investment experience, go to eckertenterprises.com. Again, that's eckertenterprises.com. What if you could catch PIMD Con, the Physician Real Estate and Entrepreneurship Conference, without booking a flight? The PIMD Con 2025 virtual ticket lets you join live from anywhere. Grab your friends, your team, or colleagues, and experience the event together from wherever you are. You'll earn CME, watch every featured session via live stream, and get lifetime access to the recording so you can rewatch anytime. You'll also get access to our vetted sponsors and partners online. So if you decide to act on an idea, you know exactly who can help you put it into practice. Now, after the conference, we're going to keep it going with PIMD Con Encore Nights, where I'll host small group breakouts, live speaker Q&As, and targeted networking, all done virtually. So bring your questions, get real-time feedback, and leave with a plan you feel good about. And here's the fun part. You don't have to experience it all alone. Now, invite your friends, your team, or colleagues to join you online and save up to 50% with group ticket discounts. Now, we've packed this year's agenda, and I couldn't be more excited. So if travel's not in the cards for you, I get it, but I still want you there. The virtual ticket really is the next best thing to being in the room. So grab your virtual ticket at PIMDcon.com. That's PIMDCON.com. See you online. Now back to the show. So I always tell people there's not one number that fits everyone. You have to get clarity on that number for yourselves. And the thing that I find for most people is actually they don't have a lot of clarity on that number. They think they have a general round number, but they actually don't know. They've never taken the time to sit there, look through their expenses. I mean, who likes to do that? But it's really important. Go through their numbers, find out how much it costs in terms of your mortgage, your car payments, your food costs, your basic necessities. And I would say to that over the year, because there's some variation in the year. So what exactly is that number? Then you know you have a target to go after. Then stack that number with the second number, which is more of your true financial freedom number. What are the other things that you enjoy doing? How many times do you go on vacation with your family, private school education, whatever the other goods are that you spend money on that really bring enjoyment to your life? How much does that cost additional per month or per year? And then all of that becomes your target for passive income. So that's why I think it's really important to know your numbers. And I can't tell you what those numbers are for you, because I'm telling you, for someone like me who lives in Orange County, California, with the cost of living where it is, might be very different from someone living in rural Arkansas. So when it comes to answering that question, how much passive income is enough to walk away from medicine? That's up to you. It depends on how you spend your money, what's important to you in terms of priorities. And the funny thing is, you can figure it out. This is kind of, when the time I'm recording this is kind of tax extension season. So I'm going through all my credit cards and numbers. I will say with today's technology, whether it's AI, through the use of bookkeeping type apps, things that track your expenses online, it is not super difficult for you to figure out what these numbers are on your own. It's just a matter of committing to do it. So my challenge to you is, if you do not know your number, I would say set aside 1 hour. Give yourself 1 hour in the next month and put it in your schedule. This is the hour where I'm going to figure out my numbers. And I think you'll be really surprised with what you find. Very rarely do people land exactly on the number. They either find out it's a little bit more than they expect, but again, that is the rare scenario. Most of the time, I will tell you, people find it's less than what they think. So the gap between where you are today and where you need to get to have that freedom, to have that peace of mind, is probably smaller than you think. But once you get clarity on that, that becomes your target. So I've seen this play out in our community a lot. We have a mastermind called Momentum, and in it, we talk about these things and we go over numbers and we help people ultimately get from where they are to where they want to be. And you can imagine this idea of financial freedom or wanting to transition comes up quite a bit in this community. And so we always start with that clarity. And then now when we have a target, we create milestones. So then we start with your number. We start with how much time do you want to get there in? And then we work backwards. We reverse engineer a plan. Let's say you want $10,000 a month in 5 years of passive income. That means in year one, it would make sense to try to figure out how to get $2,000 of passive income per month. And they keep stacking on 2,000 until after 5 years, you've got $10,000 a month. Then you have your target. You know exactly what to do in that year. You know what to go after. And once you know what that target is, I promise you, by being part of this community, by talking to other people, by networking, everything that we have online in terms of resources available to us, you can figure that out. Then once you figure it out once, you can figure it out twice. We have people in our community that felt like they had a huge target. It was like closer to $20,000. And they felt, okay, I can do this in 10 years. And in the first year, it was a little slow. Maybe they figured out how to create about $1,000 of passive income per month, which doesn't necessarily move the needle for a lot of us. But what often happens is that this path is not linear. It actually becomes exponential because you could become smarter. You know how to do it. You create new networks. You start taking smarter risks. You start pouring more capital in. And that tends to exponentially multiply. So in fact, this member of our community actually reached it in 3 years. And again, that's not guaranteed in any way or necessarily results will be like that for every single person. But they've been thinking about it for 5-10 years prior to that without any sort of clarity. But once they got clarity and they started reverse engineering and working it backwards, going towards that goal, taking action, they were able to make it happen in a much shorter time period than they expected. And so that's my hope for everyone listening to this. If that is you and that is your goal, just know it's possible. And so I think the goal for most of us is this, that we want to create enough passive income so you could walk away. But many of us, again, still find some value, still feel really good at the end of the day doing what we do. We just want to do it in a different way. We want to do it less. We want to not do it on weekends, whatever it might be. That gives you choices. That gives you options to choose how you want to live your career. That gives you choices how to live your life outside of your career as well. The goal is I don't want people to leave medicine. I want good people in medicine. We all need physicians and doctors. We know the value that our community brings to our society and our world. I will say, though, the environment right now that we're in is not the most conducive to feeling fulfilled and feeling good about our lives. But I've seen it again and again. Once people create freedom, it changes everything. So here's the takeaway. There's no specific number for passive income. It depends on you and your life and what you're looking for. You just need clarity. You probably heard clarity is power, and I absolutely believe that because it gets everything moving. So essentially, that's how I answer that question. When anybody comes and asks me, I hope that's helpful in some way for you, that you got something out of it. Let us know how we can continue to support you. Appreciate you all. Have an amazing week. Thanks. Let's talk again soon. Enjoy the show? Let me know by dropping a review in the podcast app you're listening to us in. And if you haven't already, make sure to hit subscribe. Join thousands of physicians who are also on this journey to creating their ideal lives through multiple streams of income. Learn more at our website, passiveincomemd.com. Thanks again for allowing me to be a part of your journey. See you next time.